My mom used to tell me that my first word was horse. Nobody knew why. My mom was a singer, an opera singer, and she and my dad were divorced, and so from the time I was about 2, I never knew my dad. And I grew up with a very busy mom, and I grew up like with babysitters and being alone a lot. And I just loved horses. It's all I thought about. It's like I knew in my heart from the time I was 3 or 4 years old, I was gonna be a horse trainer. I used to always say I'm gonna be an artist and a horse trainer. And I loved horses. It's like I studied them. I got Breyer dolls and played with them night and day. My heart and soul was in it. I would visualize, didn't even know the power of visualization. And I think because I was alone so much and lonely, I would do stories in my mind of someday having a barn full of beautiful horses and showing at big shows. And what's so cool and so wild and has taught me so much about life is that's exactly what I have now. I would even walk down my barn alleyway in my own little imagination, and I'd see a palomino and a gray and a white and a black. And that's what I've got right now. You know, my life almost played out. Everything I mapped out in my mind all my life as a kid. So I didn't grow up with a lot of the advantages that a lot of people who show horses and do what they do had. I just grew up with a passion, a vision, and a love for horses. When I got my stallion in Vested Dimension, I had a goal list for probably 10 years before I got him. I would say I'm gonna have the best stallion on the West Coast and in the country. And I got one stallion that I thought was it, and he died all of a sudden. I got another one that developed a strange neurological disease, and I sold him. So finally then, I kept that vision before me. I had my girls, Brooke and Bree were little girls, and I just felt led to fly to Nebraska because I knew the investor was getting old, and I knew there would be a colt in that foal crop. And when I went there, I knew that was the horse I was gonna have. My whole family went. The kids were little, and Boyd and I went. And I went to Nebraska and got him. And I had that vision before me. He lived in the pasture till he grew up. I broke him and trained him. I had everybody in the industry tell me that I had absolutely no hope of winning on him because as a woman, a woman hadn't really ever won at a big level at the World Show. So I really struggled with that. You know, number one, am I good enough? Number two, can we do it? And I'm a woman. And I'd like to tell y'all, oh, I had so much confidence, it was all easy. But I had to overcome a lot of battles in my mind, you know, to do it. So I visualized, I would walk 2 to 5 miles a day, and I visualized me showing it the world on him and winning. And I found that I would be so nervous as I'm visualizing. It took a full year to be able to get comfortable with me really owning it on the inside. And that's what I really learned, even as a kid, doing all that, thinking and dreaming, is when you get hooked on to who you really are in life and what you're supposed to do. And I have a strong faith in God, and I feel like He gives us the desires of our heart, including putting God desires in our heart that are led to what we're really supposed to do. And so every time I would discount my desires with horses, I had to remind myself, well, where'd I get this from then? You know, I grew up in an apartment with musicians that I wasn't into this. Where'd it come from? It had to have been something you wanted me to do, God. And so if you've got a dream or a desire, just know if it's in your heart, you probably are supposed to be doing it, you know? And that's what I did. And that's part of the whole message I want to say to you, that I want to help you. I made myself push through those hard moments until I owned it on the inside of me. It grew big in me. I owned it, and I knew I could do it. And you know what? You can do it too. You can do it too. You can have what's in your heart.